How's it going, guys? Welcome back to today's video. In today's video, I thought I would just give forward, some of my advice if you're struggling with phantom trading, photon trading, whatever. So what you guys will know if you've been watching the channel or you've watched any of my videos is that I did do the phantom trading course and also the photon trading course. That's where I, learned the majority of the stuff that I use in my trading. And what I want to do today is just give you, some examples of the things that I had to ask myself in order to progress. So first of all, one of the things that you need to be asking yourself is, are you rushing through the content, moving on before you fully understand a concept? So what you'll see a lot of the time is that you might be rushing through the videos. For example, like I get a lot of people message me on Instagram from the videos that I've put out on, market structure, for example. And market structure is one of the first modules you learn in pretty much any course. So when people are messaging me on Instagram saying, how do you mark structure? Do you do it this way? Do you do it that way? I'm really struggling with it. All I'm thinking, to be honest, is, are you putting in the time to learn market structure? Or are you moving on to things, too fast? Are you not spending enough time? Are you not mastering that certain concept? Are you not going through that concept enough in order to ingrain it into your mind, essentially? Because if you're messaging someone on Instagram and asking them, about market structure and you've been at it for like 2, 3, 4 months and you're still struggling, there's a serious problem there, because at the end of the day, it shouldn't really take too much time to learn a concept which is really simple. For example, the basic thing with, structure is, if we're in a, sort of uptrend like this and then we come down, and we sort of break structure down here. We've had a break of structure there. This is not your swing high. This isn't. The swing high is the highest point before the break, and that's what you're taught in the Phantom and Photon course. So, if you're struggling with that, what I would recommend is just ask yourself: are you rushing through the content and moving on before fully understanding it? So, this is one big thing that you need to be asking. So, if you're really rushing forward and you're blasting through the content as fast as you can, I would recommend slowing down and just taking it, in little bites instead of biting off more than you can chew. So the next point here is, are you wasting time in the Discord looking at analysis or just waffling in there, with your your trading pals, whatever it may be? What I see a lot of time is people will be in pre-London session, and they should be doing their analysis for the trading day going forward, and all I see is people on the trading floor asking questions, what's your bias today, are you bullish, are you bearish? And the thing, what you want to be doing is you want to be on your charts, you want to be digging into this kind of stuff yourself, and you want to be just trying to learn and progress yourself without having to rely on other people's analysis. And if you're in there just waffling around about what you had for tea like the night before, you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be wasting time. And what I would do is I would just mute pretty much every single channel within the Discord, unless you're asking questions to the coaches and things like that. So this is one thing that you've got to be aware of. You need to be in the charts, digging in and doing the work instead of in the Discord chilling. So that's one thing that I asked myself, before when I've been going through my journey. Same with this question and same with every question on this, to be honest. So the next one here is, are you comparing yourself to coaches or other traders in the community? So one of the big things with this is, obviously you don't know people's circumstances. Maybe you see someone in the analysis chat and they might be they might be smashing it, they might be funded, they might be in 10-hour trades on a weekly basis, they might be on the outside it might look like they're having like 40-50% months. Inside the communities, if you're comparing yourself to people inside the communities, what I would do is I would just take a step back and just think, look at your circumstances and what you are doing, in your own personal life. Have you got a full-time job? Have you got kids? Stuff like that. Because if you're comparing yourself to something like a 20-year-old with, no real responsibilities, no real, they've not got a full-time job, they maybe work part-time, they've got no kids, so they can come home from that job and then they can put as much time as they possibly can into the charts. Or maybe, maybe they're working, an afternoon job and they're able to trade London session, or whatever it may be. Circumstances are not always the same, so comparing yourself to others, maybe the coaches or other traders in the community, is going to be detrimental to your trading journey on the overall. And especially if you're comparing yourself to the coaches, because they're coaches for a reason. They're really elite traders, they've been doing it for a long time, maybe they've had experience in other styles of trading before, maybe they've come from a more retail background and then they've moved on, they've had a lot of different experiences within the market. They've traded live, they've traded, they've built their own trade plans, things like that. And this is the things that you want to be asking yourself. You don't want to be, getting caught up in comparing yourself to others, because that is just not a way to go. So the next question here is, how you're trying to replicate other traders or coaches. So it comes down to the coaches more often than not, because you might see, maybe in Phantom you're looking at, maybe Blackwatch or Tricky or whoever it may be. If you're trying to replicate other traders, and you don't necessarily understand what they're trying to do, and you're trying to implement things that they are saying, and they're doing it, on maybe a live call or in a backtesting session, whatever it may be, and it looks really, really easy, and then it comes to a live market, you're trying to do it yourself, and you're just taking, hundreds of losses. What you want to be doing, in my personal opinion, is taking a step back, saying, listen, what do I understand myself? What can I see in the market? Because something that, maybe Blackwatch sees, you might not see it that way, and you might see it a little bit different, but you can implement it in a sort of, in a way that you understand, in order to, catch the trades that maybe he's catching. So that's what I would do. Step back, just think, how do I understand this? What am I seeing when I, dig into this certain piece of price action? And, how can I get into these trades going forward based on what I understand, assuming that you've gone through, obviously, the course, and, you've got a good understanding of the concepts that I used. So, like market structure, liquidity, catalyst for a pullback, maybe, anything, whatever it may be. Just make sure you've got a good understanding, and that's the questions that I would ask myself. So on to the last question here, last but not least. What we've got is, do you have other commitments outside of trading? So it comes back to, comparing yourself to other coaches or traders, the, type of things that I did talk about there. So have you got, are you working a 9 to 5? Have you got kids? Have you got, other commitments that take priority over trading? Maybe you've got maybe you're caring for someone. Maybe you've got, other things that you need to be doing and need to get done that comes, in front of trading, maybe, especially if you live a busy lifestyle. You've got family, you've got kids, you've got other things going on. You can't you can't compare yourself to someone that's a lot younger than, maybe you're 30 plus, maybe you're 30, 35, 40-year-old, or whatever it may be, and you're comparing yourself to, maybe someone who's in the mid-20s, early 20s, they've not got as many responsibilities as you, and you've got more commitment than them, which obviously is going to, it's going to sway, how long it takes you to learn something and how fast you progress, because maybe person A is putting in, let's say, person A is putting in, maybe like 10 hours a day, whatever. They can sit down from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. So like 10, 12 hours a day. And then, person B, which would be you may only have, like 2 hours every night. You don't know people's circumstances. And that's one thing. And one of the biggest things that you've got to look at, have you got commitments outside of trading? Because if you have, you can't be too hard on yourself in terms of, I'm not progressing as fast as so-and-so. I'm not progressing as fast as I want to. Maybe you write down goals. Maybe you want to be a full-time trader by a certain date, but you're not on course and you're not on track for doing that. But overall, what you want to do is just don't be so hard on yourself. Do as much as you can. Make sure you're turning up every day, doing your end of day markups. Maybe you're getting, maybe an hour of night of back testing. You don't have to be doing a lot, but you need to be doing things that are going to make you work towards, that end goal that you're working for. So overall, these are just 5 questions that you can ask yourself if you're in, Phantom or Photon, or even any course or community for that matter. You can ask these to yourself, because it applies to, not just Phantom or Photon. It applies to pretty much everything. Just don't be so hard on yourself. Be doing the things day in, day out that's going to make you work towards your goals, make you work towards your end goal within trading. And just don't be so hard on yourself. Keep going, keep trying, and you will progress. So without further ado, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section down below, and I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.